Hey there, I'm Brendan Heinz. I'm the recording and mastering engineer at TRPTK, and today we're introducing Q&A Wednesdays. Q&A Wednesdays is all about answering the questions that you might have, answering some of the questions that we've been asked for years and years already. So if you have any question at all, just let us know down in the comments and we might answer it in the next video. The first question that we really wanted to talk about is, why do we record in surround sound? Because we've been asked this question so many times already for ever since we started TRPTK, basically. Why do we record in surround sound, and why is surround sound so important to us? So I want to start off with a little anecdote. Back when I was like yay high, little guy, we had this beautiful stereo system at home. It was a Bowers & Wilkins set of loudspeakers, a good amplifier along with it as well, great stereo system, just left, right speakers, phenomenal stuff. Listened to a lot of classical music back home. My dad was a great music lover as well. We listened to rock music, to jazz, to big band, to everything, whatever we could get our hands on, we listened to. At some point, my brother said he really wanted to sort of experience surround sound with movies. So we got this little home cinema system. So this Harman Kardon, you know the thing, you know, it's these tiny little milk carton loudspeakers, little subwoofer next to it with the receiver and the DVD player built in and the whole 9 yards. You know the thing. We got it, we installed it in our homes, we enjoyed a couple of movies, and it was during one of the movies that I really noticed, man, I love this music. I love the recorded sound of this music as well. It felt so much more immersive than what I listened to before. I was wondering, is that due to the music, or is that due to the recording, or is it just because you have video along with it? And turns out it was surround sound. I got a couple of DVD audios and CD, super audio CDs, and the more I listened to it, the more hooked I became. I just got into an addiction almost. The level of immersion that you have with surround sound just blew me away, especially for acoustic music. But of course, I listened to Porcupine Tree a lot as well, and the DVD audios of Porcupine Tree were stunning, absolutely stunning. So that for me is sort of, I became hooked, and that was it for me. I knew back then that if I ever want to do something with sound, I want to do something with surround sound. Just connected with it much more. So the question goes, why do we record in surround sound? It's not just that little personal story. It's got to do with the way that you perceive music when it's being played. So just imagine you're going to a concert. I know it's been 2 years already, we couldn't go to concerts, but just think along, imagine along. You're sitting in the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam. Concertgebouw orchestra is playing. You have the orchestra in front of you. You hear this great blend of all of the instruments together coming from the front of you, and it's all of the direct sound, all of the details as well that sort of all the musicians play out their heart and souls for. But what you also hear is the acoustics of the Concertgebouw. You know, you hear not just the direct sound, but also the sound that gets bounced around this room and sort of ends back up in your ears. And those sounds don't just come from the front. You know, they come from all around you. They bounce around tens of times, maybe hundreds of times before they end up in your ears. And that is what makes up a lot of the music as well. You know, it's not just direct sound, it's also the hall itself. And I think that has to do a lot with the sort of enjoyment that you get from a live concert as well. It's not just sort of to see the people playing, but it's also to have this experience of this all immersive sound. For us, that's really what surround is about. In stereo music, you can have a great representation of the direct sound, of the sound that's sort of in front of you, of the musicians themselves, and the blend between that. If the mix is great, you can hear all of that. But what stereo can never do is give you this impression of really being there, giving you the impression of all of the acoustics around you, all of the vibrations in the air that are going around that end up in your ear. Stereo just simply can't do that. And that is what surround is perfect for. It doesn't do anything and if it's well done, at least, if the stereo or surround is well done, it doesn't do anything with the sort of timbral characteristics or the blend between the direct instruments or the direct sound of the instruments. It does something to the acoustical, immersive experience of going to a concert, listening to whatever goes on in the concert hall. So that's a big thing for us, why we record in surround sound, because we do acoustical music, and the acoustics are an instrument in themselves as well, right? So for us, that makes surround sound so important to do. Even though statistically only about 5% of our listeners have a surround sound system, according to our last poll. So that's going to be the next one. So who do we do it for? We do it partly for ourselves as well. We, on the recording and mastering side, we just want to enjoy what we do, which of course we always do, but we just do more with surround sound. It just brings us back to the recording, and it sort of instantly gives you this feeling of being back there. That's great and all. But also for the 5% of people who actually have a surround system, they say the exact same things as I'm saying right here. They really enjoy this immersive concert-like experience. So what kind of surround systems are there? To begin with, you have stereophonic, as you all know, so you have a left speaker and a right speaker. Then there's 5.1 or 5.0 that we use. The 1 or the 0 stands for one subwoofer or no subwoofer. So a 5.1 or a 5.0 has a left speaker, a right speaker, so the stereo system. It has a center speaker that you see in front of me there as well. And then you have the rear left and the rear right speakers. Then there's also 7.1. 7.1 also has two speakers off to your direct sides. But this format is more used in cinema world to make sure that sound effects reach all the way in a big cinema. Then there's also the next step. The next step is RO3D and Dolby Atmos. And Dolby Atmos is really a whole different ballgame on its own, but there's a lot of people who actually already have a Dolby Atmos system. Even more so if you have the Apple AirPods Pro, you already have a little Dolby Atmos system. You have them on your headphones. And so right now we're really going into what's more for these immersive formats. What can we do more to have not just this experience around you, but also above you, and in some cases even underneath you. And I think once those systems really work out, and there's already a couple of labels in the world who record and mix and master music in these formats, I think the whole reproduction of the acoustical experience, the immersive experience, I think we're almost there. And maybe in a way we are already there. Maybe once we go and do RO3D and Dolby Atmos, we will have something that is 100%, or maybe just like 99.9%, a literal reproduction of what's going on in the concert hall. And that is super exciting. So I think that's it for now. But if you do have any questions at all, just let us know down in the comments. We'll make sure to treat it in some video. We're not sure if we can do it in the next video already because we have a lot of questions lined up, but just do ask your questions down below. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.